All right, hello, welcome everyone to the Life of a Model webinar here. We're going to go through the life of a model through design, coordination, and into the field. So a lot to cover today, so we're going to get started quickly here, but just a couple of housekeeping items. You're going to be off video, off audio in terms of like being able to speak, but you can add your questions and we're going to try and answer those live at the very end. All right, this is our safe harbor statement. Basically, what it says is during the course of this presentation, we're going to be making statements regarding future events or future development efforts. And it's basically just a way of saying, you know, whatever purchasing decisions you may be making, just keep in mind that we're saying these things with our best estimates and the best assumptions, but obviously things can change with different factors involved. This is a quick look at our agenda. We're going to talk through a lot of different things here today, but again, keep in mind we have a Q&A at the end, so get your questions ready. Okay, so who's on the call today? We have Greg Lowe, who comes from BDC and construction management background. Greg has 14 years of construction experience, including projects like hospitals, subfab, clean room, high-rise towers, office space, hospitality, education, and entertainment, sports, and religious buildings, so a lot. And during the last 14 years, Greg has worked as a project engineer, a BIM manager, and then most recently, he's worked as a VDC director for Oakland Construction, which is a top 100 ENR firm. We also have Zach on the call, Zach DeRoss, who is a VDC subject matter expert, who's focused on Assemble, BIM Collaborate, and Tandem. So before joining Autodesk, Zach worked as an electrical engineer and designer, and then as a BIM consultant. So he provided clients with trainings on Revit and then helped them streamline some of their fragmented workflows. In Autodesk, Zach has engaged in a lot of pre-construction meetings with folks ranging from BIM managers to estimators, and he's helping them better utilize the tools that they have at their disposal. And for myself, my name is Kyle Seiler. I'm a senior product marketing manager at Autodesk. I cut my teeth early in my career drafting in AutoCAD for a commercial real estate company while simultaneously working as a carpenter in the very hot summers of Tucson, Arizona. Now at my time at Autodesk, I've helped educators develop curriculum in their construction management and manufacturing programs. I've worked on products like Fusion 360, and now I've landed where I feel very much at home, working in the realm between design and construction, leading marketing efforts for BIM Collaborate. Okay, so we're going to start with a poll here. I just want to get sort of a sense for how everyone is using models. So I think we can run this poll. Logan, if you're on the call, we'll get that kicked off for you. Great. Got a couple responders here. I like it. Some combination, lots of folks using it in coordination. That totally makes sense. Interesting enough, some folks who don't use models or a limited amount who are using it for installation. So I think this is going to be a really insightful webinar for you all. I think we can maybe help show off some of the other capabilities for models. Okay, with that, I'm going to move on here and talk a little bit about the industry. So we've seen a high growth rate in the industry, but at the same time, there's a lot of demands and business pressures that are even higher. So besides these increased pressures and demands, we also hear from our customers like owners, GCs, and subs about the challenges that they face every day. I'm sure you can resonate with some of the ones listed on here and probably add a few of your own. But these trends are directly impacting the construction outcomes that you all deal with today, as well as shaping how the industry works tomorrow. Okay, I just want to talk briefly about industry fragmentation because it directly impacts outcomes. Typical projects are made up of multiple teams across multiple phases. Owners, GCs, and subs typically have different systems and platforms. And in fact, 25% of construction companies use 5 or more different software applications, which can make communication a little bit difficult at times. Communication within a team can happen through various formats, including paper. And actually, 70% of the global construction industry is still working off of paper-based processes. This method can add complexity when you consider the communication required between different teams. And each firm type experiences pressures differently, and basically from all of these broken communication lines. And oftentimes they experience them at different times, but there is some commonality between them. And you'll see some of that in this list here, in that folks are struggling with file availability, rework costs, obviously out of date information, lack of accountability, and unclear changes. All this adds up to a lot. And that's where we're seeing some of these stats come in. So teams are disconnected and working from outdated information due to these multiple apps, which leads to loads of wasted time. As you can see, there 35% of time on non-optimal activities. At the project level, the disconnect between the office and the field accounts for a massive and avoidable rework costs, so 280 billion there. And then there's consequences at the business level as well. So unused data and poorly communicated project changes account for 95.5% of this massive dent in a company's profitability. I'm sure you all know these issues intimately, and hopefully you're here to find some solutions. And we believe that it takes more than just a single piece of technology to achieve goals, but more of like an ecosystem that adapts to the ways of working in the changes that you're making in your companies. So we've worked with a lot of different companies across the globe to deliver necessary and intuitive capabilities that enhance collaboration from design to installation. All of this is possible through a strong connected foundation. And for us, that's the Autodesk Construction Cloud, or docs within that. It allows shared data to move across different teams, allowing assertive decision-making and predictive insights. And so today, why are we talking specifically about BIM and models? First, there's a need to make faster decisions in the field. Notice that 75% of firms agree with that statement. Second, the return on investment is no longer a question mark. 82% of BIM users report a positive ROI. And then third, there's this shift in process, and it leads to reduced project error. So 61% of firms report that these BIM processes reduce project error. Honestly, I could go on for a while with stats. I think that's a little bit boring, so I'd rather pass off to someone who has some deep industry knowledge and a track record of leading teams into this new way of working. So I'm going to pass off to Greg. Greg?
Thanks, Kyle. But I'm really excited to be here and to be able to just share some of my thoughts. Like Kyle said, I'm just out of the industry and really excited for this opportunity. So I wanted to talk briefly on why models matter. I really believe that a successful construction project can be determined by how well decisions have been made throughout the process of design and construction. And great decisions are made with the right information. When 3D models are used alongside the construction documents, the owners, design team, and construction teams are better positioned to make those great decisions. And so with the use of models, we see a reduction in errors, because everyone understands a picture. When you look at a model in 3D, when you visualize that model or that building, those errors are greatly reduced. It's much easier to see and understand the installation requirements. For example, when you've gone through and done all of your MEP coordination, you know who's going in first and where. And then the clear accountability across teams. Using these models helps to get everybody on the same page and make sure that we're all held accountable to use the models so that we are able to do things better out in the field. Let's go to the next slide. So what is winning in this with models look like? And the first thing is a solid execution plan. It's got to be established at the very beginning of the design process, and it should be maintained, updated, and followed all the way through project handover. And it needs to include any owner requirements, any workflows, project-specific objectives, software tools, BIM uses, process mapping, and very importantly, the level of development, so that everyone's on the same page of how far they should take their scope of work throughout the process. With one source of truth using Autodesk Construction Cloud, with your Revit models, your IFCs, your DWGs, sharing the live information through the consume method or live linking, you're able to have that centralized data where you're able to create and manage issues and make sure everyone's staying on the same page. I think it's important to be very intentional about your coordination spaces and how you organize them. I always prefer to coordinate my projects by level. I think it's easier to see and capture everything and take it pieces at a time. And then your folder structure, this definitely needs to be outlined in the BIM execution plan so that everyone knows where to find files. It's efficient and easy to walk through. But take advantage as well of the free add-ins. There's a lot that you can bring into the tools to help you be successful with this. And then keep the big picture in mind. Are you going to be using the model for scheduling and estimating, or maybe it'll be used for a digital twin, or maybe you're looking at it from the eyes of safety and considering the prevention through design opportunities that you have before things get going out in the construction field. But let's dive into this deeper and go to Zach.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, Greg. So what we're trying to do here is design with construction in mind, right? The old way is essentially having designers working in their siloed environment and construction doing the same. Why don't we combine both? One of the great ways to start is by having the models in the cloud. No longer will you need softwares like Revit, AutoCAD, Navis to actually view a model. Every computer has a browser. You can easily hop in and view that. The same will apply to issues. Those used to be siloed, but now you can create issues in one platform and access them in others to address and complete. Clash dashboards in Revit, where designers can see clashes within their Revit environment to address it there. So when you do have those weekly coordination meetings, you're dealing with less issues. And then direct links to cloud. When you're saving files from Revit, they can be pushed over to the cloud to be digested by other stakeholders to do whatever they need to with the model. Awesome. Now let me just walk you through a quick video as to how the interface works here. So as you can see, I'm in the docs module. We have a long list of other modules I can access. Same applies to projects. If I have access to another project, I can easily hop in and view that information. Now, right now, as I'm in docs, I'm in the files tab. This is that folder structure that Greg was referring to. And now I selected a model in the cloud and I'm able to view it very quickly. Within here, we're going to have views, and the views are being migrated over from Revit and being able to be accessed within the interface here. Same applies to the 2D sheets. Instead of just focusing on 3D, I can leverage 2D as well, have that floor plan load up for me, and even create some issues if I'd like on the right side. Besides that, we can hop over to levels like Greg was mentioning, doing coordination level by level. This is exactly how I can leverage these levels here and slice up the model. Issues that are created here, I can easily access, see exactly where that's going on, and all that pertaining information that's associated to this issue. And then the model browser, controlling visibility as to what I'm seeing in a 3D view. So either toggling off specific categories like windows, and if I scroll up, I can see walls. And as we can see in a 3D view, everything else is visible to us, and just allows you to digest the model quicker. Awesome. You can also compare models to each other. So maybe I want to do version 4 versus version 3, click compare, and very quickly figure out what's going on between the two versions. With the green added, the red removed, and the yellow modified, and have that all reflected within our 3D view. Also down here, we can see specific disciplines and what has been affected specifically for those disciplines to address. Now, within the model in Autodesk Docs, you can specify a description, change versions if you have multiple and you need to access a previous one. See if any markups have been added to the sheets or models and if they've been published to other stakeholders, and also who published up the model. Now I'm in Revit, and what I have is the issues added and installed, where I can access the issues that were created in the cloud directly here. Now, as we can see, I have my issue right there, but let's say I hop back into the cloud and go in and create another issue. And let me just select another model here, hop in. Again, we can see all of our views available to us. But now I'm going to specify what type of issue I'd like to apply. As we can see, we have a long list here. I'm going to click coordination, select a point in the 3D view, fill out any of the pertaining information that I care about here. And if you assign an issue to anybody, they'll get an email notification letting them know that they have an issue assigned to them. Now from here, this issue has been created. Now let's say we hop back over to Revit and we want to view that issue here. Let's say I'm a designer, right? I can click refresh and we can see that other view, or sorry, that other issue. I can select that issue, edit anything I'd like to here. And if I've resolved the issue, I can change that status from open to closed. And instantly, if I hop back over here, we can see that issue. If I simply click refresh, that issue has been closed. So again, not having silos and having all the different environments working together. Besides looking at issues, we can also see that clash matrix essentially. So again, select the project you'd like to focus on. We can see all open model issues, one open and one closed, the one we just closed. If you want to see any other issues, access it in the docs, Autodesk Docs, and then clash table down here. So this allows the designers to see exactly where the clashes are going on, address them here, make any fixes, and then push it up to share. Now let's say I'm done and I want to save this. I can save this directly to the cloud. No need to save it on my local machine anymore. Specify the folder I'd like to save over to. Again, that folder structure we were referring to earlier, click save. And now this model is being saved to the cloud and it's been saved for other people to access. Opening the file is super easy as well. Just reference that Autodesk Docs folder. And that model will be living in the folder here to access in the future. Awesome. Now we want to focus more specifically on the model coordination module. And what that will allow you to do is automate clash detection for all. So again, cloud-based access to project files for every stakeholder, aggregate models. So multiple stakeholders are pushing in their trades, being able to combine their models into one place, drill down to information. So behind all of these 3D objects, there's a lot of valuable metadata that we like to access when we're doing coordination. Creating and managing issues. So again, creating issues here and sharing it back to the design team to address, and then the clash detection philosophy. Now, I really want to emphasize as to what we consider the clash detection philosophy. The way we look at it is by democratizing how coordination is being done. I come from the industry, and the way coordination was done was very siloed, especially with clashing. What we want to do is enable different subs, different stakeholders to deal with their own clashes in-house that are very minimal. So when we have those coordination meetings weekly, we are dealing with the ones that need more people to resolve and not just an in-house issue. So really alleviate the work for one person and distributing it to the rest of the team. And with that, we have this video on model coordination. Again, one of the different modules within the cloud. You can select the module, select the project you're looking at, and right now we're in the models tab. The way this works is with different coordination spaces. As we can see on the right, I'm selecting mechanical, for example. We can see the models associated to mechanical. I can select complete, which is an aggregate of all models combined into one place. So a couple different ways that you can bucket the different models for different contractors. I can select a model, hop in. Maybe I want to clash this with another model, first floor versus first floor, loading up that model, and then I can save that view for future use. So again, in the future, I won't have to do this and add in this model, or if it was more complex, multiple models, to save the view that you care about and have it all provided to you pretty quickly. Save that view. And now we want to do coordination. So this is where that automated coordination comes in, that clashing. You can change the grouping, do whatever you'd like, but we saw all the clashes very quickly. And if we need to create any other issues, we can easily do so here. Select your point. Same idea like we saw earlier. Assign it to whoever you'd like, change the title if you'd like. And now that clash has been created for us. From here, we can hop over to the clashes tab, and we like to call this the clash matrix. Right now it's looking at all models, clashing them against each other, and can show you where most of the clashes are happening and allow you to address them if you need to. So we can see a bunch of first floors. If we want to specify specific views, either ones, the ones that we have created already, like the one we just did, like this level 1, we can see those clashes directly there. We can also narrow down to models. So maybe I don't want to look at the first floor architecturals. I can remove that, click apply, and now they're removed out of the equation. And you're just looking at what you care about. Same applies to different coordination spaces. Instead of just complete, I can hop over to, let's say, mechanical. And these are the only models that are going to be compared, or even electrical. Really simplifies the process so you're not overwhelmed with too much information. With the different tabs up here, you can see where issues have been assigned, which issues have been closed, and have a audit trail essentially of all this information that you may want to reference in the future. The views were what I was referring to earlier. So again, I don't have to create a view from scratch. I can just hop into this tab, find the view that I care about, jump into it, and access that data. Awesome. And yeah, that's pretty much it for all things model coordination. Now from here, we may want to take this data and push it over to Navisworks. And I'll let Greg walk you through how that's going to work.
Thanks, Zach. So I know when I was in the industry, one of the most critical things that I would always ask is, can I still use Navisworks and do what I need to do? And the answer is yes. But when would you use Navisworks and when would you use model coordination? So I firmly believe that model coordination in pre-construction is a very powerful tool that will help design teams and the contractors work through and find issues faster. I believe that model coordination is a great tool for those that aren't Navisworks power users. I think it allows them gives them the tools that they need to be able to coordinate a model. But it also would work great on simplified projects where you can benefit from coordination, having everything up in the cloud, being able to create issues, view the models, and do what you need to do. But let's talk Navisworks for a second. As projects get more complex, whether it's a hospital or a manufacturing facility or a laboratory, whatever it is, there's times where you need to use the tools that are in Navisworks. So let's show an example of what that looks like. Kyle, if you go to the next slide. So this is in Navisworks. I'm going to go to the coordination tab, and I can get this tab added by getting the add-in from the Autodesk App Store. On this tab, I'm going to go over to models, and I'm going to open the model. And in this case, I'm going to just open the model that Zach was just in, that he was using in the cloud and in Revit. So here I can see all of my coordination spaces. I'll keep it on complete. I have the same views that Zach was just in. He just created this level 1 coordination view. I have access to all the different models. You can see they're all broken up by level. But let's go into the level 1 coordination. That's going to open up the model. So here I've got my model in Navisworks. This is just the level 1. I can zoom, rotate, do all of those things that I'm used to doing in Navisworks. I can now go to my Manage Issues tool. And that issue that Zach had, item number 12, you can see that that's brought in. I can see that. From here, I can adjust who it's assigned to, if it's closed or open, or add more content to it. I can also create new issues. So here I am creating an issue for this railing and where it attaches to the wall. I'm going to go ahead and just rename it quickly. And I can go through and assign it and put a due date on it. People will be notified of who needs to address it. I'll go ahead and just scroll down through the list, showing all the different options. I can add a reference. Maybe there's a document I need to add that I can pull from Autodesk Docs. I'm going to refresh it just to make sure it pushes all the way across the different platforms from Navis back to the cloud. Okay, now let's just assume that I'm to a point where this model has been fully coordinated and I'm ready to do a sign-off model. So let me show that example. Here I am creating an NWD. I'll save this out to my desktop, and then I'm going to go in and upload it into the cloud. And the point of this is I want to get this information that we've spent a lot of time working through out to the field. So let's talk what the next step is. Kyle, if you go to that next slide. So the model's on mobile, and what does this look like? We want everyone out in the field being able to get access to this information. Like I said at the very beginning, good decisions are made when we have good information. So through mobile devices, you're able to get in, you can view the models, you can navigate and walk around them. You have access to all of the properties, you can add photos, you have access to issues as well. You can see, for example, the issues that Zach created or that I created in Navis. You have all of that in mobile. You can even go through and schedule a meeting. So let me show a quick example of what this looks like on a mobile device. So here's just the opening screen showing this college project. I'm going to go into my Files tab, and I'll go into the NWD. And in the NWD, you can see I have access to the full model. Just depending on how I've set up the NWD, I have a pop-out viewer up at the top. I can scroll in and zoom out just like you're familiar with doing on a mobile device. I do have a walk tool where I can use the joystick and walk around through the building. I can also go to the pop-out view. Let me move that. And here you can see where my view is. I can select on the dot, the icon, move me to where I want to be. That will change my view. And I can orient myself that way. Now let's go to another example. And I do have access to all of my viewpoints that I have in Navisworks. So let's show an example of what that looks like. So I'll go to my tools at the top right. I'll go to my viewpoints. And in this case, I'll select this staircase. So here I can go in, I can select the railing or the ceilings or whatever and look at the properties and the information that's been embedded into the model and be able to use that out in the field. I can create an issue if I need to, if I see something that maybe coordination was off a little bit and needs to be re-looked at, I can go through and do that. So, all right, Kyle, let's go to that next slide. But one thing I want to emphasize is that every project is different. And your approach isn't always going to be the exact same. This is very much a people business, and we have to be able to adapt to the different people that we're working with. And so one thing I would say with this is start with your owner. Make sure your owners are on board with this. Help them see the value of it. Help those that you're working with see that value and build trust. I think working with models and doing this process requires a lot of trust with everyone, and everyone's got to be on the same page. And I think at the end of the day, the bottom line is when this is all done correctly, it really makes a difference to improve the lives of those we're working with. Construction's a tough job. Design is tough. And we spend a lot of time doing it. And if there's anything we can do to help speed things up or make things better or communicate better or to get the right information so that the right decisions can be made, we definitely want to do that. And on this final slide, just want to reinforce these business outcomes with the better communication, the clear requirements, and the stronger collaboration. This really is our emphasis, where we want to see things go. We want things to get better in the industry and continue to improve. And we think with these tools that we've reviewed and showing the life of a model from start to finish all the way through the field really can make a difference for everybody. Kyle, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, thank you, Greg and Zach. So we have one last poll here for you. So if Logan wants to load that up, that'd be great. What of this that you've seen today interests you? You know, are you interested in getting into using models for coordination for maybe the first time, using it on site or throughout the entire project lifecycle? Please let us know and we can have someone follow up with you. So I'm going to give some time to do that, but while you all are working on that, I think we're going to move into the Q&A here and see what kind of questions we have. Zach and Greg, do you mind coming up on camera so we can address some of these? Okay. Okay. Does the Issues tab in Revit work if you only have docs, or do you need additional services to make that work? Zach, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so if you just have docs, it should work. Because yeah, issues live within docs alone, so that's the only thing you would need there.
Okay. Okay, so here's a question about clash detection. You know, it's a good way to see all of the trades together. But if you're looking for something a little more specific, like ducts and pipes through walls to create an issue, is there a way to sort of focus on just that, sort of declutter out everything that you're seeing?
Yeah, so when you have your Revit models, what you'd want to do is create multiple views, and each view is going to be specific to a different trade. So when you're pushing it into model coordination, we can just leverage those views instead. So let's say I have a mechanical model, right? You're gonna have a view for ducts, plumbing, and you could get more granular and have it level 1 duct, level 1 plumbing, etc. So within model coordination, select the specific views for, let's say, level 1 duct versus level 1 plumbing. And then everything else will be filtered out, so you don't have to see that essentially.
Great. And to save cloud models, do you need docs only, or do you need something else for that from Revit?
So you just need docs to be able to save it. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And do all the models need to be Revit models in the things that we showed today?
In this example, they work best with Revit. I believe with model coordination, we are supporting other file formats. I would have to double check what those are exactly, but yeah. With regards to docs,
a little bit of it.
Okay. Yeah, with regards to docs, you can store any file type. The model coordination is where it's more granular, and I'll let you get to that.
Yeah, so we are supporting a lot of different file types these days. So IFC, NWC, DWG, of course, Revit files. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but yeah, we've been extending our file support for quite some time now. What is the mobile app called, and is it free? Who has access to it? And I'll tag on one more thing. Is it just for iPad, or is it available for your mobile device as well, or your phone? A lot of questions in there. Anyone want to take it, or I can take it too? I'll go for it. So it's called PlanGrid Build app. You can download it today, iOS and Android. It is available for folks who have BIM Collaborate, Autodesk Docs, or Autodesk Build. So you'll be able to see everything that we showed today with those different subscriptions. It is available on both tablet and your cell phone device. I have a question here about Navisworks. So, Greg, you talked a little bit about how how model coordination is really helpful in pre-construction. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean by Navisworks as good throughout the construction lifecycle?
Yeah, when you get into the heavy lifting coordination process, and you're saying, for example, looking at a hospital, you're going to have a lot of elements, a lot of pipes. You're going to have pneumatic tubes, cable trays. There's just going to be a lot of information in there, and you're going to want to be able to use some of those tools that are in Navis. Now, if you're a power user of Navis, you're great, and you're able to go through and do that. But if you're not, there's still ways to do it through model coordination and make it helpful. So I think it just depends what you're doing, what kind of project you're on, and what you're looking to get out of it when you're looking at Navis versus model coordination. Did that answer that?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so what about clash detection reports? So I think typically this person was doing it through Navisworks. Can you now do it through model coordination or BIM Collaborate?
So I think I'll take a swing at it, but Zach and Kai, you guys correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, you still, if you're going to go into Navis and use the clash detection tool, you still could do those reports. But if you're doing the coordination tool through the cloud, then you're going to be looking at that through issues. And so it's a little bit of a shift in mindset on what that report looks like. Am I way off on that?
As far as I understand, it's the issue. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah. So with clash detection reports, yeah, you're selecting the two models you like to compare. I'm not sure if you're exporting out afterwards, but you're going to be using them hand in hand is the short answer, in my opinion.
Great. Okay, do you need BIM Collaborate Pro to access model coordination? I'm gonna go ahead and take this one. No, you can access model coordination through BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro. So either one will do. What is Docs? Anyone want to give an answer of what Autodesk Docs is?
Yeah, so Autodesk Docs is essentially our cloud storage environment. It's one of the modules that we provide alongside model coordination, but it just allows you to leverage the cloud environment instead of having to store large models on your own servers, right? Just leverage us instead.
Great. This is more of I think a bigger question, but I kind of want to see how you all approach it. So again, do you see the industry getting to the point where 3D models become a construction document?
I'll go first on that. But we've been asking this question for a while now, and I am very hopeful that we're going to get there. I think there's got to be some changes in contracts and whatnot for it to work, but I really hope we can get there. I know there's projects where teams are very sophisticated and really taking advantage of the model, and others where they're still pretty skittish on what that looks like. But I'm really hoping we get there sooner than later. I think it's still out down the road a little bit, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you just said, Greg.
Right. I have a really great question here. So what is the learning curve for something like model coordination? And actually, I kind of want to answer this because you two are experts, so maybe you might be biased. And I'm coming from a place where I had no experience and had to learn model coordination. And I thought it was very intuitive. I picked it up just in a couple of days. I've tried Navisworks in the past, and that was a little bit tougher for me, if I'm honest. But model coordination is really simple to learn. It's very intuitive UI, and you know, the colorization of things and the way that you can filter through things is just sort of what you'd expect from a web application. So I thought the learning curve was pretty easy.
Yeah, and to add to that, that's kind of the real power of the views that I was showing in the video. You can literally just click that one tab for views, find the pertaining ones that matter to you, click that, and literally one more button and you're going to have your coordination, your clashing done for you automatically. So it's super easy to learn.
Right. Before we cut out today, there are a couple of people here who either joined late or missed a part of this for some reason. I just want you to know that we're going to be sending you an email afterwards with this presentation so you can go back and watch it again. So if you missed any part of it, no problem, we got you covered. Just keep an eye out for that email. We have one more minute. Any closing thoughts from Greg or Zach?
Yeah, I'm just going through the questions, and so many great questions. I wish we had more time to go through and answer all of these, but boy, just really impressed to see people jumping in and asking these questions. And I think for me, my last little statement would be, if you're new to this, jump in. I don't think this is not going anywhere. Models are here to stay. BIM is here to stay, and take advantage of it.
Great. Zach, anything?
No, I mean, I'm excited for you guys to hopefully reach out and want to learn more about model coordination and how it can essentially, yeah, democratize the coordination so you're not having one guy do everything.
Great, awesome. Thank you guys so much for presenting today. Thank you for everyone who joined. We had a very large crowd of about 400 of you. So thanks for sticking with us, and we'll stay in touch, okay? Bye.